Introduction to Human Physiology. This diagram shows different parts of human physiology. Objectives. At the end of this chapter, the student will be able to define physiology, explain homeostasis, discuss negative and positive feedback mechanism, discuss cell physiology, define the body fluid compartments, list the functions of electrolytes, outlines, overview, definitions, historical background, homeostasis, feedback control mechanisms, the cell, body fluid and electrolytes. Overview. Human organisms consists of trillions of cells, all working together for maintenance of entire organism. Cells perform different functions. All cells are quite similar in their metabolic requirements. Oxygen, glucose, mineral, ions, waste removal. Maintaining a constant internal environment necessary for well-being of individual cells and of the entire body. Extracellular fluid ECF. Cell is basic structural and functional unit of life. Each organ in our body is an aggregate of 100 trillions of different cells. Cells are bathed with ECF fluid that fills space between cells, which contains an optimum amount of nutrients, gases, hormones, enzymes, water, and electrolytes. Function of each body system is to maintain a constant condition in the extracellular fluid or ECF. What is homeostasis? It is maintenance of static or constant conditions in the internal environment. ECF. Essentially, all organs of the body perform their functions to maintain constant conditions in the ECF. Lungs maintain normal concentration of respiratory gases. Central nervous system transports required substances and removes waste products. Cardiovascular system transports required substance and removes waste products. Kidneys maintain constant ionic concentration. GIS provides nutrients. GIS means gastrointestinal system. Underlying principle of physiology. Physiology is concerned with system contribute to home benefit from homeostasis, means of survival. It allows an organism to function in a broad range of environment. Homeostasis refers to stability, balance, or equilibrium. Maintaining stable internal environment requires constant monitoring and adjustments as conditions change. Homeostatic regulations. Adjustment of physiological systems within the body involves receptor, control center, and effector. Receptor receives information that something in the environment is changing. Control center or integration center receives and processes information from the receptor. Effector responds to the commands of the control center by either opposing or enhancing the stimulus. Homeostatic regulation is an ongoing process that continually works to restore and maintain homeostasis. Example, body temperature regulation. Receptors, skin and hypothalamus. Control centers, brain. Effector, blood vessels and sweat glands. Thermoregulation. This is the algorithm. Temperature of external environment, body temperature or regulated variable. Thermoreceptors or sensors detect temperature. Input, brain thermoregulatory centers. Integration, output, sweat glands effectors, blood vessels in skin effectors, skeletal muscles effectors, sweat glands effectors, sweat production, blood vessels in skin effectors, constriction, skeletal muscle effectors, shivering, blood vessels in skin or effectors, constriction, blood flow, sweat glands effectors, sweat production, heat loss, skeletal muscles effectors, shivering, heat generation. Body temperature or regulated variables, negative feedback. Homeostatic control mechanism. This is its diagram. Homeostatic control mechanism. The second diagram looks like this. Set point. Comparator. Error signal. Effector. Disturbances. Controlled variable. Sensor. Homeostatically regulated variables, body temperature, blood composition, ions, sugars, proteins, water, oxygen, and carbon dioxide, pH, and osmolarity. Blood pressure, cardiac output, cardiac rate, respiratory rate, and depth, secretions of endocrine glands, rate of intracellular chemical reactions. Physiology, the study of normal function of human body, deals with integrated activities of different organs and organ systems and the conditions which determine normal functions of body parts. Almost all physiological parameters are measurable and expressed quantitatively. Example, blood pressure BP 120 per 80 millimeter hydrogen. Blood glucose level BGL 70 up to 110 milligram per dl. Fields of physiology range from simple viral physiology, bacterial physiology, cellular physiology to the most complex human physiology. Physiology is closely related to several other branches of science such as anatomy, pharmacology, biochemistry, pathology. Therefore, physiology is not an isolated science but highly associated with other sciences. Normal values and ranges of some important parameters that have to be maintained. Body fluid volume 42 liter. Intracellular fluid ICF 28 L. Extracellular fluids ECF 14 or 14 L. Interstitial fluids 11 L or liter. Plasma fluids 0 liter. Osmolality equals to 300 mos per L or 285 up to 300 mos per L. Body temperature 36.3 up to 37.1 degrees centigrade. pH 7.6 7.35 up to 7.45. Normal values in the ranges continue. Blood gas PCO2 equals to 35 up to 45 milligram mercury. PO2 40 up to 104 mmHg. Waste products creatinine or S-creatinine equals to 0.6 up to 1.5 milligram per day. Blood urea nitrogen BUN equals to 8 up to 25 milligram per day. Uric acid equals to 2.3 up to 6.6 milligram per day. Blood glucose level fasting 70 up to 110 milligram per day. Arterial blood pressure or systemic circulation. Systolic pressure 120 milligram Hg or 90 up to 140 milligram mmHg. Diastolic pressure 80 mmHg or 60 up to 90 mmHg. Pulmonary AP equals to 25 per 10 mmHg. Cardiac output 5 liters per minute. Blood flow 5 liters per minute. Red blood cell count 4 up to 6 millions per millimeter cube. White blood cell count 4,000 up to 11,000 millimeter cube. Platelets count 5,000 up to 500,000 per mm cube. Normal values of ECF and ICF. This is extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. Disturbances of homeostasis. Deviations from normal ranges. Pathology. Hypo or hyperthermia or increase or decrease temperature. Hypo per hypercapnia. Decrease or increase PCO2. Acidosis per alkalosis. Decrease or increase pH. Hypoxia per hyperoxia. Decrease or increase PO2. Hypo per hypercalcemia. Decrease or increase calcium. Hypo or hyperglycemia. Decrease or increase glucose. Factor disturbing homeostasis. External stimuli, heat, cold, lack of oxygen, pathogens and toxins. Internal stimuli, abnormalities in visceral organs. That means BP, glucose, salts, water. Control of homeostasis. This is the algorithm. Organism in homeostasis. External change on the right side and internal change. Internal change results in loss of homeostasis. Organism attempts to compensate. Compensation fails. Illness or disease. Compensation succeeds. Wellness. Intrinsic controls inherent in an organ. Changes are automatically regulated by the organ. Example, reduction of oxygen makes tissue release dilators. Vascular autoregulation in exercising skeletal muscle. Frank Starling mechanism in the heart. Extrinsic controls. External stimuli initiate the regulation process. The most common type of controls. Nervous or endocrine system. The control mechanism initiated outside the organ and alters the organ activities via coordinators. maintain most of the factors in the internal environment. This is the regulatory systems of homeostasis. Nervous system, endocrine system, controlling bodies of homeostasis. Nerve impulse, neurotransmitter, receptor, effector cell, gland, hormone, receptor. These other organ algorithms. Feedback control. Body organs receive information feedback about the extent of their activities through the regulatory mechanisms, or NS or ES, alter the function of organs by increasing or decreasing their activities. There are two types. One, negative feedback mechanism. Two, positive feedback mechanism. The negative feedback mechanism works by producing effect which opposes previous condition, initiating stimulus of the organ. Nature of most control systems. Example, PCO2 in the blood. NFM stimulates pulmonary ventilation rate, which has an effect of decreased PCO2 in blood to normal. If BP falls too low, a series of responses come into operation that elevates BP, returning it toward this normal level. Most homeostatic mechanisms of the body are NFM. Example, control of ABP, VGL, and BT. Effects are opposite or negative to initial stimulus. Mechanism that opposes or counteracts deviation of controlled variable from normal value or range per average. Blood glucose regulation, NFM. Just this is the diagrams. 2. The positive feedback mechanism work by producing effect which enhances or repeats the same action like that of the starting with stimulus, can sometimes cause vicious cycles, and this can sometimes be useful, such as LH surge during ovulation, blood clotting, uterine contraction during childbirth is enhanced as the head of the baby stretches the cervix, generation and propagation of action potential. Uterine contraction during parturition, PFM. This is diagram. Cell physiology. Cells, microscopic fundamental units of all living things. Every living thing has cells. Bacteria, protozoans, fungi, plants, and animals are the main groups, kingdoms of living things. Some organisms are made up of just one cell. Example, bacteria and protozoans. Animals, including human beings, are multicellular. An adult human body is composed of about 100 cells. Each cell has basic requirements to sustain it, and the body's organ system are largely built around providing the many trillions of cells with basic needs such as oxygen, food, and waste removal. There are about 200 different kinds of specialized cells in the human body. When many identical cells are organized together, it is called a tissue. Muscle tissue, nervous tissue, various tissues organized together to form a common purpose are called organs: stomach, skin, brain. Ideas about cells have changed considerably over the years. Early biologists' cell is simple, membranous sacs containing fluid and a few floating particles. Today's biologists' cell is inconceivably more complex than this. If a person's cells are healthy, then that person is healthy. All physiological process, disease, growth, and development can be described at the cellular level. All cells share certain characteristics. These are general cell structure and components, general mechanisms for changing nutrients to energy, deliver end products into their surrounding fluids. Almost all have the ability to reproduce.